Hi guys, right, I've been going to make a video about the question I get asked all the time every time I go live. And you always ask us, how did I know? Well, there's a few separate sort of questions within the question, but the first bit of it is, what I get asked all the time is, like, how did I know that I was a clairvoyant? I never ever knew that I was a clairvoyant, and I know like you hear it a lot that like people say clairvoyance when they're young, but I didn't know that I was a clairvoyant. I just knew what I thought everybody knew, like when you're around somebody and you just seem to know stuff about them but you didn't know, like you just think it's your imagination, or I did, and I've been like that for years. Little did I know, me nana was a clairvoyant as well, but she actually read tea leaves and stuff, and from all accounts when I've done my research, because she passed away when I was 10, a lot of people started coming forward who knew me nana, and knew me but I didn't know them from being a child, and telling us only when they've seen me live and whatever else or heard about us practicing mediumship, they've getting in touch with us, whether I've been live on Facebook or TikTok, and they've messaged us and says, oh, your nana Betty used to be able to do that. And then when I further investigated it, I found out that my nana used to read tea leaves, and by all accounts she was very, very accurate. And they say that mediumship skips a generation and it hits other ones. So for an example, like if your nana or your great nana was a medium, it usually misses the next daughter or son, and it hits their grandchildren, or maybe it's the great grandchildren. But because my nana passed away when I was 10-year-old in 1988 of lung cancer, I was never ever told, like I was fully unaware that my nana could do mediumship, practice like clairvoyancy. And then when I was told about it, the words off my auntie Anna were, Stephen, honestly, if it was this day and age now, she'd be on TV. She was that accurate and that good. But obviously, because I didn't know, like obviously I was none the wiser. I just seemed to just know stuff about people, but I didn't know how or what, and I never voiced it. I just thought it was my imagination. I just put it down to that, and I thought, well, everybody's got an imagination. And it wasn't until about 8-9 years ago, I went to Ibiza for my friend John's stag do. And whilst I was there, it was the second night. We were all sitting around the pool. There was probably about 20-30 of us, and a lot of the lads I'd never met before. Obviously on stag do's you do get people who's like joining the stag do that's friends like with John, but I didn't know them personally. And when we were sitting around the pool, there was like a few Irish lasses as well from Derry, I believe. And one of them in particular, Kelly, she was called, or still is called, shall I say. I don't know, I just started to see like a house. And like I just felt different. I just felt as if like, you know, I got this impulse to just, I needed to tell her like about her nana, but like I didn't even know she'd lost her nana. I just described the house to her, and she went, that's where I live. And I described the kitchen, and she was like encouraging us. She was saying, tell us more, Nala. So I told her more about what I was getting and all the specific stuff. And all she said to us was, what's me nana's name? And I went, I still remember it, because it's like the first like thing that like freaked us out about mediumship. And I went, I'm getting the letter J or Jane or something. And she jumped up and she knocked the drinks all over. Like, I mean, I got as much of a shock as she did off the reaction of what she got from what I said. And I was apologising. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you out like that. She was like, Steve, that's mad, that, like proper mad. I can't believe you've just said me nana's name. When a friend come back, she was saying to my friend, like, you just tell us me nana's name and that. And obviously, you know, as the night went on, us lads and everyone like went off, and we went to like different bars and whatever else as you do on a stag do. And I can't remember a thing really, because we were all drinking quite heavily really. And then the next morning, as I woke up, all the lads were like looking at us, and I was scared, oh well, what's I done? You know, I joking and that. And they were like, Steve, you're mad, yeah, like. And I was scared, what's the matter? And they were like, can you not remember what you told us last night? And I was getting that. And they were like, you were telling us this, you were telling us that, you were telling us about me granddad, you were, you know, and like loads of the lads were telling us that I was been saying stuff to them that like I was right. And it freaked us out a canny bit, and I rang my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, we hadn't been married yet. And I just said, like, Paula, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, she was like, what? Like, she went, I says, I've just been telling all the lads, like, loads, I was getting a bit upset, actually. I says, I've just been telling all the lads, like, X, Y, Z, this, that, and the other. I tell the Irish lass her nanny's name. And she's like, Steve, calm down, it's alright, man. Like, just when you get back, you're just going to have to speak to somebody about it, you know? And I was like, aye, you're right, you're right. And then when I come home, that's when I pursued looking into what was happening, you know, and I went to a couple of spiritualist churches, which, being honest, that didn't feel helped us a lot, really. But off the back of that, there was a guy at the church doing a demonstration on a Sunday evening, because I used to go on a Saturday night, and then on a Sunday sometimes they'd have like a guest on, like the guest medium, and he just come straight to me. But I had that every time I went to the church. Whoever was like leading the mediumship, shall we say, they would always say, can I just come to you? And I'm like, yeah. And they're going, do you know you can do this? And I was like, what? Like, you're a medium. And then the next time I went, and they wouldn't say it to anyone else, it was always just me. Because I was obviously, you know, like, well, who else are they going to see it to? And they didn't. And then this guy, I believe, if I remember rightly, his name was Michael. And he was doing like a service on the Sunday evening. And he was saying it's the last one he's going to be doing, and this, that, and the other. And he'd done what all the rest of them done. He just went, can I come to you? The guy with like the green t-shirt. I don't know what colour I was wearing at the time. I went, yeah. And he went, do you know you can do this and all that? You're practising in that? I says, well, I'm looking at stuff and reading, trying to read books as best I can. He went, well, keep it up. So anyway, at the end of the service, I went over and collared him. And I says, how did you know that like, I can do it? Because I've been said to us loads of times. And he says, yeah, I can see the aura around you. And he says, it's a different colour. I think he said like a purpley blue. Where everyone else's aura is not the same colour as yours. He says, because I see auras and stuff. I didn't see them personally, but I'm not like a lot of people do. And he says, I could see the aura, because everyone practices in different ways. And then I asked him how he learned, and then he said his mum took him to see someone, a lady who helped him loads. And then basically he passed us on. He says there's like a course starting, and I think it was in 2 months' time or a month's time, with a guy called John Patterson. And it was at Ferry Hill Community Centre, which is actually where I went initially to practice my black belt in Goshen Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, which is crazy because I never knew where the place was. So there's me going back again to learn my mediumship, where I went to like sort of finish off learning the part of my black belt, which I found mad as well. But I didn't want to waffle on too much because there's so much information that I could tell you. But anyway, I went, and John Patterson was sitting there in the middle of the circle, and he had a pair of shorts on, just chilled out. And he was like cracking on, having a bit talk with people, with like everybody, me as well, how you doing and all that. I didn't think for 1 second that he was running the class, purely because of the way he was dressed. Not that it was a bad way to be dressed, it was summer, but like, it was just, you know when you expect somebody to be like dressed as a school teacher, like wearing a suit or something, you know what I mean? And then like everyone came in, and that, mainly women, 90% was women. I think it was 2 lads, and I think I was one of them. No, there was 3 lads, I think. Anyway, that was John. And he stood up and he went, right guys, I'm John Patterson, blah, blah, blah. And that's how it all started. And I went every week. And then eventually we left the Ferry Hill Centre and we went to another place, another community centre, and then went from the community centre and we'd done a private circle at his home. And basically I just learnt loads off him. You know what I mean? He just gave us the confidence to be able to like do what I do. And then 1 week he says, oh, we're going to practice a bit spiritual photography. And I asked him what it was. And he just says, well, basically we're going to like have a look and take photos of each other and just see what's around in the photos and stuff. And anyway, the following week I says, John, I bought a camera, you know, what I'm using now. It's the same model, but I've got a newer one. And basically he says, oh, we'll bring it next week and bring a black blanket, which I've still got to this day. And I took it, anyway, taking photos and that, and it was a week later I seen the photo of my dog, and that's how it all started basically. But I've only got 24 seconds left because I know it's only 10 minutes on a TikTok. But that was like 9 years ago, like 8, 9, no, about 8, 9 years ago, and that's how it all started, my mediumship. But I did actually know, like, I don't know, I just seemed to know stuff about people, but I just thought everybody did. So that's the answer to the question what you all ask. That's how I started.